Ladies and gentlemen, when life breaks you, and it will, at times it isn't trying to destroy you, it's trying to reveal you. You see, every crack that appears in your world, every moment when you feel like you've lost control, is not the end of you, it's the beginning of something deeper, truer, and infinitely more powerful. The universe doesn't shatter us to punish us. It breaks us open so that the light inside can finally escape. When life breaks you, it may feel like everything you have built is crumbling beyond repair. Dreams collapse, relationships fall apart, plans dissolve into uncertainty, and the future you imagined suddenly vanishes. But what if the breaking isn't meant to destroy you at all? What if it's meant to reveal the real you, the part that has always been hidden beneath layers of fear, expectation, and illusion? Life's breaking moments are not destruction, they are revelation. They strip away the false identities we've built around ourselves, the titles, the achievements, the roles we play, and bring us face with our authentic essence. When life is comfortable, we often settle into patterns that make us forget who we truly are. We become attached to external validation, chasing approval, status, or material security. But when life breaks us, those outer layers fall apart, and in that raw space of vulnerability, something extraordinary happens. We begin to see ourselves without the masks. The pain becomes a mirror, reflecting the strength, resilience, and divine energy that were always there but never fully recognized. The breaking, then, is not an act of cruelty by the universe, but an invitation to awaken to our higher nature. Think of how gold is purified. It must go through the fire before its true brilliance emerges. In the same way, when life places us in the fire of adversity, the heat burns away what is false, the doubts, fears, and attachments, leaving behind the essence of who we truly are. The breaking does not diminish our value, it exposes it. It reveals the sacred part of us that cannot be broken, no matter how shattered our outer world becomes. In those moments of despair, when it feels like there is nothing left to hold onto, a deeper awareness begins to rise. It whispers that even in the chaos, you are still whole. It reminds you that your worth is not defined by what you lose, but by what remains when everything else falls away. That awareness, quiet, steady, and eternal, is the truth of who you are. Life's breaking moments are, therefore, sacred opportunities. They call you back to your center, where peace and power reside. They remind you that beyond every ending lies the birth of something new, a clearer purpose, a stronger faith, and a deeper connection to the source of all creation. When life breaks you, it is not the end of your story. It is the revelation of the strength, light, and beauty that were waiting all along to be seen. Transformation often requires breaking, because growth rarely happens in comfort. Just as the seed must split open for the plant to emerge, and the caterpillar must dissolve within the cocoon to become a butterfly, we too must go through seasons of breaking to evolve into who we are meant to be. These moments of breaking are not punishments from life. They are sacred transitions designed to awaken us to a greater version of ourselves. Yet, in the midst of them, it seldom feels that way. Pain feels unfair, endings feel cruel, and uncertainty feels unbearable. But in truth, what feels like destruction is often the quiet work of transformation taking place beneath the surface. When we resist the breaking, we cling to the familiar old beliefs, relationships, habits, or identities that no longer serve us. Life, in its infinite wisdom, will shake those foundations not to harm us, but to free us. The shell must crack, because without that rupture, the life within can never expand beyond its limits. Breaking is the way the universe clears away what has outlived its purpose, creating room for something new to grow. Growth demands surrender, and surrender often feels like breaking apart. If you observe nature, you'll see that everything that grows must first endure a kind of breaking. The dawn splits the darkness. The waves crash against the shore before retreating into calm. Trees shed their leaves and stand bare before they bloom again. Every cycle of creation carries within it both beauty and breaking. We are no different. Every heartbreak, disappointment, and failure we experience carries a seed of renewal within it. What feels like an ending is actually an unseen beginning taking shape. In our most broken moments, we begin to realize that strength does not come from holding everything together. It comes from allowing ourselves to fall apart and trusting that something divine is rebuilding us. Transformation does not ask for perfection, it asks for openness. It asks us to trust that even when everything feels uncertain, there is an intelligence at work far greater than our understanding. The breaking allows the light of awareness to enter, revealing parts of ourselves that were asleep while life was easy. So when life cracks open the shell of your comfort, remember that it's not the end of you, it's the unveiling of you. Breaking is simply life's way of making sure you don't stay small when you were born to expand. Every ending carries within it the promise of a greater beginning, and every fracture becomes the passage through which your true self finally emerges. When challenges strike, the first instinct most of us have is to cry out, "Why me?" We question life, fate, or even God, wondering why pain has chosen our doorstep. Yet that question keeps us trapped in the past, focused on the wound rather than the healing. The moment we shift from "why me" to "what now," everything changes. This shift doesn't erase the pain, but it transforms how we experience it. It moves us from the role of a victim to that of a creator. Why me searches for blame, what now searches for growth. One keeps us stuck in the story of suffering, while the other opens the door to transformation. When life breaks you, asking "what now?" allows you to step into the present moment with courage and curiosity. It's an act of spiritual maturity, a quiet declaration that while you cannot always control what happens to you, you can always choose how you respond. The power of your response determines whether pain becomes a prison or a pathway. Every difficult situation carries within it a hidden lesson, an invitation to evolve, to strengthen, to deepen your awareness. By asking "what now?" you align yourself with that lesson instead of resisting it. Consider how many times in life a painful ending became the beginning of something better. The job loss that led to discovering your true calling, the heartbreak that opened your heart to real love, the failure that awakened your humility and faith. None of these moments feel like gifts when they arrive, but the question "what now?" helps you discover the hidden purpose behind them. It invites creativity, resilience, and wisdom to rise from within. It allows you to rebuild not from anger or fear, but from understanding and clarity. The truth is, life is not trying to punish you, it is trying to shape you. Every challenge is a sculptor's chisel, carving away what no longer belongs so that the masterpiece beneath can be revealed. When you stop asking "why did this happen to me?" and begin asking "what can I learn from this?" you shift your energy from resistance to acceptance. Acceptance is not surrendering to defeat. It's recognizing that even in loss, there is a sacred opportunity to grow. This change in perspective transforms your pain into purpose. It empowers you to rise from the ashes of difficulty with new strength, guided not by fear of the past, but by faith in what's possible next. What now is the language of awakening, the moment you stop fighting the storm and begin learning to dance in the rain. Pain is often seen as the enemy, something to be avoided, numbed, or escaped. Yet pain, in its mysterious way, is not the opposite of peace, but the pathway to it. Without pain, there would be no awakening, no compassion, no understanding of the depth and resilience of the human spirit. Pain is the great teacher of life, revealing what truly matters when everything superficial falls away. It strips us bare, forcing us to confront what is real within us. When we stop running from pain and instead face it with awareness, it begins to transform. What once felt like punishment becomes a profound source of wisdom and clarity. Every wound carries within it a message. The ache in your heart, the heaviness in your spirit, The tears you shed, they are all signals from the soul, calling you back to yourself. Pain invites reflection. It whispers that something inside needs healing, understanding, or release. When we listen instead of resist, we begin to uncover the peace that was hidden beneath the noise of fear and denial. It is not the pain itself that breaks us, it is our refusal to accept and learn from it. Acceptance opens the door to peace, because peace is born not in the absence of pain, but in the presence of awareness. Imagine the wound as an opening, not a scar. It is the place where the light of understanding enters, where empathy and compassion are born. Those who have suffered deeply often love more gently and understand more profoundly. They have walked through the fire and discovered that the flame does not destroy, it purifies. Pain humbles us, reminding us that life is fragile, precious, and interconnected. It teaches us gratitude for moments of calm, for laughter, for the simple gift of being alive. When you begin to see pain as a teacher rather than a curse, its hold over you weakens. The suffering does not vanish, but its meaning changes. You stop asking to be spared from the storm and instead learn how to find stillness within it. True peace is not a life without struggle. It is a state of being that remains unshaken even when struggle comes. Pain leads us there, step by step, lesson by lesson. It breaks open the hardened walls of the heart, allowing light to pour in where once there was darkness. And through that light, you come to realize that every wound has always been a doorway not to despair, but to awakening. You are not a victim of life, you are a co-creator with it. This truth has the power to completely transform how you experience everything that happens to you. Too often, people believe that life is something that happens asterisk to asterisk them, that they are subject to circumstances, luck, or the will of others. But in reality, every thought you think, every word you speak, and every belief you hold shapes the world around you. The energy you put into the universe returns to you, and your inner state becomes the lens through which you experience all of life. When you accept that you are a co-creator, you stop feeling powerless and begin to recognize your own divine authority to influence, attract, and transform. Every situation you encounter is a reflection of your consciousness. If your mind is filled with fear, you will see obstacles. If your heart is open with gratitude, you will notice opportunities. Life mirrors your inner world, and when you take responsibility for your energy, you begin to see how much influence you truly have. Co-creation doesn't mean you control everything. It means you align yourself with the creative force of the universe, that same intelligence that spins the planets, grows the trees, and breathes life into you each morning. It means trusting that what you send out in thought, feeling, and action is shaping the reality you walk into tomorrow. When challenges appear, the co-creator within you doesn't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" but rather, "What is life asking me to become through this?" This perspective frees you from the heaviness of victimhood. It reminds you that every moment carries the potential for transformation. Even pain can be a tool for creation when you approach it consciously. You have the power to transform fear into faith, doubt into vision, and endings into beginnings. Creation is not about forcing outcomes, it's about aligning your inner energy with what you truly desire to experience. Each time you focus on love instead of resentment, gratitude instead of lack, and possibility instead of despair, you are shaping your world anew. The universe responds not to your wishes, but to your vibration. When you radiate faith and purpose, life meets you there. To be a co-creator is to live with intention, to know that your choices, no matter how small, carry creative power. This is the sacred partnership between you and the universe, a dance of energy where your thoughts are the steps and your faith is the rhythm. You are not here to be a passive observer of life, but an active participant in its unfolding. painting your reality with every belief, emotion, and act of courage that flows through you. Gratitude is the quiet alchemy that turns pain into purpose and endings into beginnings. When life breaks you, gratitude becomes the bridge between what was and what can be. It is easy to be thankful when everything is going well, when love flows freely and plans unfold smoothly. But true gratitude reveals its power when life feels heavy, uncertain, or unfair. To say thank you in those moments is not to deny your pain. It is to acknowledge that even within the chaos there is meaning, there is growth, and there is grace at work. Gratitude transforms perception. It shifts your focus from what you have lost to what still remains your strength, your breath, your will to rise again. When you choose to be grateful for the lesson hidden within hardship, you begin to see that every experience is part of a greater design. The pieces that once felt shattered start to rearrange themselves into a new form, a wiser version of who you are becoming. Gratitude does not erase the wounds, but it changes how they live within you. It turns them from sources of bitterness into symbols of resilience. By saying thank you for what broke you, you reclaim your power from the experience that once seemed to define you. You become the author of your healing instead of the victim of your history. Renewal begins where resistance ends. When you stop fighting the reality of what has happened and begin to accept it with gratitude, you make space for new possibilities to enter your life. The heart that is grateful is open, and an open heart attracts abundance, love, and peace. Gratitude tells the universe, I trust you. It is a declaration of faith that says, even when I don't understand this moment, I believe it is leading me somewhere meaningful. Renewal is born in that trust. It is the quiet rebuilding of the soul that happens when you stop clinging to what was and start embracing what is trying to emerge. Every dawn that follows a dark night is proof that life renews itself. The same power that brings the sun back to the sky each morning lives within you. When you cultivate gratitude, you align yourself with that same rhythm of renewal. You stop seeing your scars as evidence of suffering and start seeing them as proof of survival. Gratitude breathes new life into brokenness, allowing you to rise not as who you were before, but as who you were always meant to become stronger, softer, wiser, and infinitely more alive.